There's no question that connecting with kids is a priority in youth ministry. The question is, how do we set the stage for our youth workers to do this? Jonathan just finished a training workshop in Atlanta where he did an exercise he likes to call the sticky note exercise. This exercise is an interesting way for a group of youth workers to inventory the spiritual pulse of their students, notice trends, and begin seeking out students' individual needs. Let's listen in.
These are my volunteers, okay? I'm going to hand them each a little pad of sticky notes, and I'm going to hand them each a pen. So I'm giving them each a thing of sticky notes and a pen, okay? So they're each getting their pen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them instructions, and I want them to each think of 5 different kids that they connect with, okay? And these are my volunteers, and let's just say that this is our perfect little youth group where we connect with 25 kids. And I look and I go, oh, how cool, my 5 volunteers each connect with 5 kids. It's so mathematically perfect. I love it. So I'm going to say, what I want you to do is I want you to think of those kids, and what I want you to do is I want you to write down the names of these kids, 1 name per sticky note. So, you might write down BJ on 1 sticky note, set it aside. And then, okay, Thomas, another sticky note. So go ahead and write down 5 names of kids. If you want to use fictitious names, that's fine, but think of 5 kids. It doesn't matter. But think of them and write 1 name per sticky note. We've got these names written down. Okay, now here's what we're going to do, is we're going to place the student's name on the chart in the place that best describes them. So I want you guys to look up here in the chart. We've already gone over this, and you've got what a no-way kid is, a not interested kid, a checking things out kid. We've got the stagnant kids that are the kids that kind of aren't growing, aren't plugged in. We've got the growing kids who are growing, are getting plugged in. They're not perfect, but they're growing. Then maybe more kids that actually have an eye for ministry, and they actually want to reach out and help share their faith, okay? So look up here and start thinking where these kids belong. Think about that for a second, okay? Okay, now what I would do is I'd actually, at this time, I would go to my volunteers and I'd start right here and I'd look and I'd say, okay, Mike, here we go. Mike, why don't you go ahead and go up there and just slap him up. There, okay. Now, if I was doing this at like a staff training weekend or something, I might, one at a time, as they do that, I might, like, as they put one up, literally when Mike put up Matt as the first one, I might go, okay, cool. Matt, you put as a checking things out kid. And I might actually stop Mike and go, how do you know that Matt is a checking things out kid? And Mike would tell me, well, because I was hanging out with him, and he would tell me why he thinks that. Or he'd go, I don't know, I'm just guessing. Now, if he said that, I would say, well, how do you think you could find out where Matt is at spiritually?
I'd ask him a question.
Yeah, you could, exactly. And hopefully, I would get to the point of, maybe if you hang out with him, got it? And this is, all right, go ahead. Typical youth group in America. See it? Okay? So I've asked them to come up and put names up on the charts, and like I said, I would maybe even go, oh, okay, Sandy, you put, Maddie up here, okay? And I'd go, now you say Maddie's looking for mystery kid. How do you know that? Good, and I could ask her about that, and maybe I would spend time as they stick the sticky notes up there, and we could talk about some of these kids, okay? Why do we do this real quick? As my volunteers are sitting here, let me just quickly speak aside to you guys. Why is it that I would want my volunteers to do this? Why would I want them to go through this exercise and do the sticky note thing and put names up there? Glad you asked. It might help you realize that you don't know your kids as well as you thought. Okay? Remember when I think Mike was putting Matt up there, he was like, did you see that? When he first came up, he was like, sometimes, I don't know about you, but very honestly, I always see some of my volunteers will get up there and they'll be like, I don't know where Megan goes. And this helps them also realize, I've never talked to Megan about this. It helps them realize that they don't know their kids as well as they thought. Do you see why that could be important? Okay. Also, why would I have my volunteers do this? Placing kids' name on this chart helps us realize the needs they have. Okay. All of a sudden, when he's putting Matt up here and he's going, you know what? I don't know where he goes, but I think he's on this side of the line. If he's like, I'm sure he's on this side of the line, then all of a sudden Mike for the first time realized, oh, Matt needs Christ. I've never thought about it before, but he's there at the small group and we're always talking God, we're always talking Bible. Have I ever really share Jesus with Matt. Sometimes that might be the first time Mike realizes it. Now, Mike's probably, shared Christ a million times. I'm sure Mike's got it going on. But I'm just saying, I've had other staff that this is the first time they realize it. This might be a time where all of a sudden, we got this John kid right here. Who put up John? Okay, you did right there. Okay, and so when I sit there and go, John, you put yourself here. No, I'm just kidding. So John, put little John on here, and maybe John, as he puts up here, says, why isn't John a looking for ministry kid? Yeah, what would get him there? Maybe I need to start discipling him. And maybe John, for the first time, thinks, I've never thought about that. What if I went to like a discipleship book with John? It would be our John time, and he would start thinking about that. Here's the other thing, the other reason, as I speak aside to you really quick, okay? Because they're not listening. This will help my volunteers keep accountable to the spiritual growth of our group. Here's the reason why. I'm going to take this thing right here. Okay, I'm going to go, thank you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to set it aside. And 3 months later, I'm going to bring it out and say, okay, which of these sticky notes have moved? And if Mike looks up there and Matt's still sitting right there, and I go, why is Matt still there? I'm going to hope it's going to be because I've talked to him 10 times, and it's not going to be because, I don't know, I've never called him. Do you see the accountability with that? Wow, he's sitting right there on that side of the line. There's accountability to that.
We didn't have enough time to show you the entire exercise, but we wanted you to get an idea of what it looked like. The 6 types of students and the entire exercise is laid out in Jonathan's book, Connect. So, where would your student ministry sticky notes be placed?